Welcome into another edition of The Session with Londa and David. My name is David Austin.
I'm Londa Sherwood Austin. Welcome back.
This is an exciting episode of The Session with Londa and David because this is the MMA SmackDown edition of The Session with Londa and David. And if you are ready to rumble, this is your episode. I think Londa's going to Greco-Roman wrestle someone during this episode. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you should, because she's oiled up. I mean, I'm ready for the show. I'm ready for the show.
Okay, all right. Hey, crazy question. Did you start your camera?
Ada, did I start my camera?
All right, cool.
All right, there you go.
Nice.
Okay, so the reason I call this the MMA SmackDown edition of The Session with Londa and David is because Londa told us last week that she teased this program that she was going to talk about a disagreement with a customer. I'm very excited to hear this story, so I'm taking off my headphones so we can have a regular conversation. And go.
If you don't know, the rules have changed just slightly around real estate. And the way that the rules have changed is there was a big, National Association of Realtors had a big lawsuit. And now we simply have to be clearer about the disclosure of how we get paid.
Right.
That's it.
That's right.
And because of that, it has made some sellers a little less willing to pay a buyer's agent, and it has made some realtors race to the bottom, as we say. And so in order to, in their mind, I think, save their sellers money, they are negotiating a lower percentage of commission than previously, maybe. Okay, so I think that was all a very
for buyer's agents.
I think that was all a very legal and appropriate way to say all of that.
Sure.
If you have more questions, you can call me. But with all of that in mind, I previously got pretty consistently paid X percent commission on transactions. I now get paid a little less than X percent, right? So from the sell side,
I got
right?
you.
From the listing side. And so that difference has to be made up by my buyer.
Okay.
So I'm very clear about this. I don't mind talking about money. It's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with this conversation. So when I sit down with my buyers and we go through the buyer brokerage services agreement, which is a legal documentation that we have to go through with them, and part of this document discloses how much I charge to legally represent you in this transaction.
Right.
We discuss it, okay? That's the first time that we discuss it, when you sign that document. That document is signed upon, as early as possible in the relationship.
Before you professionally represent them in any way.
Yes.
There you go.
So that's the first document. That's the first conversation.
Sure.
Okay. The next time we have the conversation is if they write an offer on a house, a purchase and sale agreement, because on the front page of the purchase and sale agreement, it's right there. Seller is offering this percent to the buyer's brokerage.
Right.
And the brokerage is asking this percent of the seller.
Right.
It's right there on page 1.
Right.
Sometimes those are the same number.
And it's the buyer asking for that percentage to pay their brokerage. It's the buyer asking. So one line is what the seller is advertising they're willing to pay. And now we have to go look for it, because in this wonderful rule with the National Association of Realtors, the one place where everyone can see what the seller's offering, the MLS, no longer allowed to advertise
in our PAC MLS. You can.
Correct.
In Northwest MLS.
Well,
but anyway,
what I'm saying is if you're a National Association of Realtors thing, you can no longer advertise that in the MLS. And it's the one place that makes it easy.
I just want to keep it pretty streamlined, because we can get off in the weeds about this thing. We could talk about it for hours.
Well, I don't think we can, though, only because it's a simple solution.
Okay, so that's the second time we have the conversation.
Right.
And in that, we get pretty detailed about it because, do you want this to be part of the negotiation? I asked my buyer, or do you want to just handle the shortfall if there is one?
Right.
It's up to you, right? So then when I put the whole offer together, I go through the whole thing one more time from top to bottom. It can be sometimes up to 24 pages long. I go through the whole thing top to bottom with my client. That's the third time we talk about it.
Right.
I do things the same every time. And the reason I do things the same every time is so that I never miss anything, so that my client gets the best of me, and so there's never an aha moment on me.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So I don't get sued.
Sure.
It's always the same every time.
Absolutely.
Can never be, no one could ever accuse me of discriminating because I do it exactly the same. I
For
don't care
every
who
customer,
you are.
regardless of what they look like, where they're from, what their beliefs
and
are.
my
none of
motivation when I started real estate for doing that is my realtor, previous to me being in real estate, was a good friend who was not a good realtor. And I thought, when I'm a realtor, I am going to do things exactly the same every time. So everybody, no matter the relationship I have, gets the very best of me.
Yes.
So that's the motivation.
And can I say something?
Of course. Think it's your show.
I think whenever you're in business, the reason people say, well, I don't like to do business with friends and family, is because it's easy to overlook the steps that you set up for yourself for success because you're too familiar.
Right.
It's just like the doctor who wants to treat himself has a fool for a patient. It's exactly that.
Yeah. I mean, I remember one of our kids one time said, well, when we were in a transaction, I was helping them buy a house, and they said, well, you're just saying that because you're my mom. And I'm like, nope, 100% no.
Right.
This is just how I do things.
Right.
So anyway.
And that's a really good rule for life. That's a rule for success.
So there's the setup, right?
Yes.
So there's a follow-up document. Now the offer is submitted. The offer is accepted. And it's a damn good offer. And I'll get to that in a second. But so now I'm like, congratulations, you're under contract. I send out an email with the next steps, blah, blah, blah. Couple days later, I send another document, and this is the commission disbursement form, right? So now this is where now the fourth time we're going over this extra X percent that was the shortfall of what I charge to the client for my brokerage and what was being offered.
Right.
It wasn't a lot. Maybe I'll get into the numbers in a second. So,
I don't think you should, but that's just because we're supposedly not allowed to talk about that.
Yeah, I can get around sharing the exact numbers, but I will talk percentages in just a second, and not percentage of commission, but stick with me.
I gotcha.
So anyway, I send the document out for signature, and I get a text. Because the most courageous individuals always want to confront you through text. Not a phone call, not a text. If I had known you were going to charge me X number of dollars to represent me, I wouldn't have done this. Why would I do that when they're already paying you X number of dollars?
Right.
I mean, very curt.
Well, and that's true. And text has no tone.
Text has no tone.
So you don't know. It could have been, why would I pay you this?
It wasn't.
And I know, but you know what I mean, because text has no tone.
Sure.
I would have made a phone call if I got a bill.
And it's okay. And it's okay. Because you're right, text has no tone. So I immediately picked up the phone because I don't want my text back to be misinterpreted by tone. I also am not stupid, and I know this client and their personality type and their stuff, right?
Yes.
Because we all come in with our stuff.
Right.
And so I call. And I didn't misinterpret the tone. It was very confrontational, extremely confrontational. You should have mentioned this the first time we met. Okay, well, I did.
Right. Here's your signature where we talked about it.
I said, you know what? It sounds like some things were lost in translation.
Sure.
Let me back up. Let's pull the lens back a little bit, and let me go over the times that we discussed this, and maybe it'll trigger your memory. Now, I sound calm, cool, and collected, right?
And you did. I was there for that.
My heart was racing, pounding out of my chest, and I was sweating buckets.
Sure.
Right? Because for as tough as I am, I don't like my clients to be mad at me.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want them to be mad at me.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't care if the other realtor's mad at me. I don't care if the other realtor's client is mad at me. Doesn't faze me one bit. But if my client's mad at me, I'm panicking. Okay,
right.
So.
And that's good.
So, I don't know that it's good, but I got to stay calm because I got to be the calm in the storm.
Is this in the story when you had me grease you up for the fight?
No.
So you could Greco-Roman wrestle?
No.
Is that when that happened?
So I say, let's go through this again. Do you remember when we were sitting at and here was the setting, and this was the first time we went over this document? Then we went over, and I go through all the times and explain how this is not a surprise.
Right.
Okay. So the client ends the phone call with this statement: "I'll let you know what I decide." Mm-hmm. I said, "Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good." Click. Now, from that moment forward, I'm going to go forward in this relationship and pretend like nothing's wrong. There is no problem as far as I'm concerned. It was clear.
Right. It was clear.
And at this point, when I get to the I don't care point, everybody's in trouble.
Right.
Because when I get to the...
No, it's fine. I don't care.
Not that. It's the genuinely, I don't care. Then fire me. Okay, you don't like it? Terminate and fire me and go do somebody else. That's fine, because I know what I bring to the table.
Right.
I know what I'm doing for you, and I am confident that nobody can do what I can do.
And that's true.
And the way that I can do it.
Force of nature.
I should say the way I do it, because there's lots of great realtors who get their clients great deals and come through, difficult transactions out the other side with success. So I don't want to say that there's not, but nobody does it like I do it.
That's true.
Okay. And I know that I'm worth it. The other thing that I explained to her, and I think this is worth sharing with people, is that money gets split like 6 different ways.
Right. But that's true. But there's no need to...
They look at the amount on a statement or whatever, and they go, oh my God, they made that much money? No, the brokerage made that much money. And then if it's a national brand, they take a percentage for the national brand. The brokerage takes a percentage. The designated broker, the office, you know what I mean? It gets split out. 30% goes to our tax account. We've got employees. We've got expenses.
Right.
It's a freaking business.
Yes, it's a business. It's not a hobby.
Right.
I think a lot of people think of real estate. Well, this is all about perception, right? Perception's reality. A lot of people that I've spoken to in the last 21 years as a lender, and now both a lender and a realtor, say things like, all you guys do is put flyers in the box and wait for a paycheck. Well, that's untrue. And some people may do that.
Right.
But what we are professional problem solvers.
Yeah.
We are forces of nature that make things happen.
Yep.
And if we make them happen to your satisfaction, you'll tell your friends and family, and we'll make things happen for them.
Right.
And that's the business we're running. And that business is not charitable, and it is not free.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's a lot of people, and I've made this joke for years. A lot of people get into real estate because they really like houses and they don't want some boss checking their time card. Well, that's not how you run a successful business.
Your boss that checks
practice.
your time card is your clients, and let me tell you, they don't care. They text you in the middle of the night.
That's exactly right.
They call you at 6:30 in the morning. You have to be really good at setting boundaries.
And I love it when realtors are amazed that I work like a realtor and not like a banker. And a banker works from 9 to 5 and is off on weekends. A lender who cares about making things happen doesn't not work. And I tell people, and have for 21 years, if you try to call me when I'm singing in the choir, I won't answer.
Right.
But if you call me at any other time, I will pick up the phone or call you back within an hour. And that's true. Yeah. So I think that's important, right? You work when the work works.
That's it.
And that's...
And we have to be a good, in my opinion, a good realtor is a really good... almost a therapist.
Right.
Because in this situation, I got scared, but at the same time, I know because I'm good with people and I understand people and I know her personality. I can see her mother wound. Like it's all, I see it through kind of therapist eyes. I'm like, oh, she's reacting to this because, I told you, and I don't want to get too into it, but because I don't want to expose anybody accidentally, but it's all there. And so I'm managing emotions and I'm trying to walk through this with her, and I'm taking her high intense energy, being a step down transformer. And putting out low voltage current, and it is not always easy taking in all that high voltage. You do it all the time. I've heard you on the phone recently, in a situation where you're the lender with a realtor, and you're taking in a lot of high voltage. And you've got to do the same thing and put out low voltage.
That's right.
And we do it all the time. And if you don't know how to do that, don't get into this job because you just make it worse for everybody.
That's true. We've talked a lot on this program about drama triangles and people who are not good with taking on the stress of their job create an enemy in every transaction. And if something goes wrong, well, that guy is the reason.
Oh, I read something. If you're easily offended, you're easily emotionally manipulated.
Oh, that's interesting.
I just heard a therapist say that. I read an article in the New York Times.
Which is why sociopaths are never offended.
You know what that means?
What?
I read an article in the New York Times.
Oh, you saw it on TikTok.
I saw TikTok, but it was a therapist. Anyway, I just think that's interesting. Okay, so let me finish the story, right? So
this is where you greased up for the Greco-Roman wrestling.
No, this is when I act like nothing's wrong because nothing's wrong.
I gotcha.
She's upset. She's going to work through her emotions, but I'm going to be steady.
I gotcha. So you're not taking bandages and dipping them in glue and glass.
No. My first mentor in real estate was Joe Mullins, and I'm so grateful for him because he said to me one time, your clients and the other realtors and the whoever during these transactions, they're going to go on a roller coaster ride. You stay on the ground and just wave. Stay on the ground. Let them go on their roller coaster. You stay on the ground. And man, that was good advice. Because whenever I get in a situation like that, I think, okay, I'm just going to stay on the ground. I don't have to go on the ride with them.
You stay steady.
Yep.
So there are highs and lows on a roller coaster.
I'm steady Eddie.
And there's slow ups and steep downs.
Yep.
Interesting.
So later on, she actually apologized to me. We had the next day we had the inspection on the property. So and she was so spun up that she did not want me to attend the inspection.
Right.
No, I'm more comfortable going alone. Well, okay. Somebody's going to have to open the door, and it has to be a realtor because the key's inside a lockbox. Right. So would you, I offered to send you. I offered to have the list agent go out. I can make those arrangements for you.
Right.
Once she realized she's kind of painted into a corner here, okay, fine. You can come, I guess. So I get there. She apologized to me 3 times that day.
Well, and I can tell you what happened, I'm sure. She read through all of the paperwork she signed, realized, oh, yes, we did go over this, and here's where I signed it. And let me tell you, talk about over-disclosing, right? We have very strong language around how we get paid because it is the law, and we're not afraid to talk about that, right? So I'm certain what happened was she read it, remembered, and I bet somebody at work when she got that form said to her, well, that doesn't seem right.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to tell myself a bunch of stories. All I know is what I had nature, in front of me.
Right?
It is.
And she, I'm certain, read through it and realized, oh, yeah, I remember.
At some point.
And that's why she apologized.
At some point realized she made a mistake.
Right.
And then, again, I need to stay steady Eddie.
Right.
Because I know her personality and her kryptonite is making a mistake.
Right. That's right.
Now I need to stay steady because I don't want her to beat herself up.
Right.
There's no need to shame spiral.
Right.
Which she kind of was doing.
Right.
Because the third apology, when we were leaving the over 4 hour inspection, this is what she said. Hey, again, I'm just really sorry that I was an asshole yesterday. That's a quote.
Yeah.
And I was like,
you weren't.
No,
You didn't say that?
Shit, no, I didn't say that.
People get emotional about money. They do. They do. That's what I'd have said.
I said, everything's okay. I got you.
Okay. I like that.
I got you no matter what.
Not, hey, suck it.
Right.
Right.
I got you. Thank you. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tide turned.
Right.
Everything shifted in the dynamic. 2 days later, she signed the document. Everything came through. Everything was fine. Now, here's what happened, though. And here's why I don't feel bad saying I'm worth this amount of money.
Okay, I like this.
She made an investment in me of X number of dollars.
Right. Let's say.
Nope. Okay. We don't have to say.
But
she got back, because of my negotiating skills, got back a 74% return on her investment.
Because of your negotiating skills.
That's right.
That's great.
Nobody else could have got that for her.
The only person who makes 74% returns on her investments is Nancy Pelosi, and I don't know how she does it. She's better than the Oracle of Wall Street and the Oracle of Omaha. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how she's doing it. But yeah, 74% return on her investment. That's pretty good.
With the negotiation of price and the negotiation of inspection, we got her home for $36,000 under market value. Nobody else can do that. And I'm telling you right now, it was worth the little bit of money that she paid. And she thanked me up and down at her closing.
And the real whether or not it was worth it is the perception of the client after the transaction.
So yesterday, late in the day, after her signing, and she sends me a text with asterisks and the word exhale. Londa, thanks for sticking in there with me.
There you go.
And there it is. And that's all I want. I want my clients to feel safe. I want them to feel heard. I want them to know I've got their back. I want them to know that they're protected with me. And I am tough. You're going to pay me because I'm worth it.
I like that.
You don't want to pay? Fine. There's a lot of discount brokers that will, you can save money. Nobody else could have done that deal the way that I did it.
That's true. And you never had to step into an octagon
no.
and fist fight someone. I'm a little sad about that because I thought we were going to grease you up and do some Greco-Roman wrestling, maybe some Muay Thai.
37,000. Sorry, I made a mistake. It wasn't 36. It was 37,000.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I forgot about that extra little negotiation I did.
The
that
extra $1,000 there at the last second. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah. She was so happy with it that at the closing, she brought an extra check written to me personally for that amount because she didn't realize it had already come out. It was already in the deal.
Right.
And I was like, oh, no. It's not an extra. It was already in there. Oh, it was? So by the end, she trusted me so much, she didn't even read her settlement statement. She let me go over it and trusted that everything was good.
Well, and it's a good thing that you let her keep that cashier's check, because that's how you go to federal prison.
I don't want to go to
accepting
prison.
money that
I'm not
you don't
made
need.
for prison.
You know what I mean? You're way too pretty for prison.
I'd Martha Stewart it, I guess. I'd be teaching sales classes.
You would be. That'd be great. I think if I went to prison, I'd be Andy Dufresne. I'd be doing people's taxes and helping people with money, just like in the Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I didn't know what the heck that reference was. All right. Well, that's my story. That's
a good story. So again, just to clarify, nobody's greasing you up, and you're not going to wrestle anybody in this episode.
Not in this episode.
I'm sorry to let you guys down. I really thought that was coming. And I've been visualizing it the entire show. The entire show.
Okay.
Hey, speaking of fun things, I love the egret collection that you're wearing today.
I wondered if you would notice.
I do notice.
We have never celebrated Valentine's Day. When we got together, I said, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I think it's kind of,
She said Valentine's Day is for suckers and simps. And I said, okay.
I just am not about it, right?
I love love.
And, well, I do too. But so this year, for Valentine's Day, you got me this beautiful earring and bracelet set from Jenny Bird. Thank you very much.
Jenny Bird, and it is the egret collection. And now I'm realizing maybe she did a bird theme because of her name, Jenny Bird. I never thought of that until right now, this minute, when you said it. Because I'm a little simple. And speaking of simple, whatever happened to that 3-bin laundry thing that we talked about a couple of shows ago? Because I still don't know where that is.
I have no idea.
It's just gone.
It's just gone.
Did it get melted down? I mean, it's gone.
I don't know. I don't know what happened
As
to
they
it.
say in Lafayette, Louisiana, gone pecan.
It's gone pecan.
It's gone.
Yep.
It's out of here.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I had somebody ask me about it this week, where that thing was.
Oh,
one of our listeners who
I don't know.
The show.
I don't know where it is, honestly. I don't know.
In our Florida house, we used it, and in our Louisiana house, I think we put it upstairs in the over the garage guest bonus.
And we
thing.
downsized so much when we came back and got into the condo. It may have been one of the things that didn't make the cut.
Which makes me so sad, because I loved it.
You know you can get one on Amazon, right?
I can't get one on Amazon. It won't be the same one.
Oh, okay.
It won't be.
That's okay. That's all I got for you. Let's wrap this up.
Oh, well, before we do, let's do the restaurant review nobody asked for. Crapplebee's.
Oh God, you guys.
Okay. We went to formerly the busiest Applebee's in America, and I only know that because my brother used to manage an Applebee's, and he told us, hey, isn't Kennewick kind of where you guys are? And I'm like, yeah, Kennewick's where we are. The number one Applebee's in America was the Kennewick Applebee's shortly after it opened, because that was the chain restaurant to go to in the Tri-Cities. Now there are more chains. I don't know how they fare now, but they're still pretty busy. I think the best way to go there is to sit in the bar, because that's the only way you can walk in and not have to wait for 72 hours because they're woefully understaffed, and there are 9 open tables, but they're not putting people there because we don't have a server for that.
Tell me how you feel.
For that area right there. We don't.
They don't.
I don't understand it.
It doesn't matter if you understand
pick up some extra tables if you're short-staffed.
I guess they don't do that.
Seat people in the restaurant.
I guess
don't
they don't
make
do
me
that.
sit in the lobby for 42 minutes because a guy's 30 minutes late.
You sat in the lobby for like 6 minutes.
Whatever. It seemed like 6 weeks is what it seemed like to me.
That's because we had the Grand Boys and they were bickering.
We were there so long, people came in and plugged in their e-scooters to charge.
That's true. That did happen.
I've never seen such a thing.
Applebee's is exactly what you expect. It's just shit food, and that's what it is. You don't go there for anything that's homemade or whatever. You go there to get a tummy ache later.
Well, and if you listen to my brother Nathan, you only order burgers or steaks because everything else is in a bag that they heat up in the kitchen.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Everything else.
It's just, it is what you expect. That's what...
Everything's
I wasn't surprised.
Frozen and flash fried, or a steak or a burger. Don't get anything else because...
Well, here's the hack. I will say their kids' meals, really good sized meals.
They are. It's a full-size burger.
There you go.
So if you...
Their spinach dip sucks.
I thought it was fine.
It's disgusting.
I was
But here's what happened.
A little rumbly in the tumbly later.
I woke up like at midnight, stomach ache, didn't go away for like 16 hours.
That's
Thanks,
true.
Applebee's.
That's true.
But it's exactly what I expected.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
There you go. That's all I got.
That is the restaurant. I would give it a 6.5 out of 10, maybe 7, because the service was really good.
Like twice a year, I crave those boneless wings, and I have to go get them, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and sadly, I think they're the worst tasting thing on the planet.
It's the Red Hot. It's the Frank's Red
Hot.
I love it.
Oh, I can't stand it. It's vinegar based.
I love it.
Even though I grew up in Louisiana and Tabasco is also vinegar based, I can't do it.
Love Tabasco too. Can't eat it. Not supposed to have it.
You know what I love? I love Tapatio because it's got the kick, but it doesn't have the vinegar.
Okay.
So there you go.
Thanks for tuning in.
For
today.
me, Frank's Red Hot, a no, certainly not, no thank you, 6.5 out of 10. There you have it, and there it is. Do you have anything else you want to add as we have the closing music playing in the background?
Nope.
I'm very excited about this because Ada is taking over the program, our creative director, and I can't wait to see how this thing looks with her running it. So this is exciting.
It'll be a couple months, so calm down.
Whatever. But it's going to be great. I'm super excited.
I'm sure we'll have like a spring launch or
because
something.
she is clearly the most talented person on the team. Hands down, far and away.
Yes.
I mean, awesome. Smart, funny, really cool.
Talented.
Best hairstyle. I mean, I'm super excited that Ada's taken this whole thing over. We're just going to be the talent talking on this program.
Well, you're really selling it.
It's going to look radically different.
All right. Wrap this up.
And appeal to a wider audience. I think that's the magic. So thank you for that, Ada. We're very excited. For Londa Joanne Sherwood Austin, the prettiest girl in the world, my name is David Austin, and this has been The Session with Londa and David. We'll see you next week.